Hi, happy Friday, everyone. So this is Attorney Davis with Davis Legal Center, and what a week it has been for me. I had a very jam-packed week coming back from the holiday, and I know earlier this week I kind of shared with everyone that I would be kind of going over what my firm's policies and procedures are when it comes to guiding a client on whether or not we would be making a recommendation in support of a client accepting a plea or proceeding to trial. And so it's a lot of different factors. It's kind of hard to do a video like this because, you know, as an attorney, we're bound by ethical rules, and obviously we cannot make a client do anything, and this video is only for like informational purposes. So it's kind of hard because there's so many different factors, and it's so hard to make like a blanket thing or a video about whether or not a person should accept a plea or proceed to trial. So there's many different factors. This video, I'm only just going to talk about what our firm's policies and procedures are to help guide a client. So, you know, our firm always takes the position that we do a bottoms-up approach when it comes to our criminal cases, whether it's state or federal, misdemeanor or felony, or juvenile, misdemeanor, felony, or juvenile. We prepare every case as though it's going for trial, period, point blank. And I always tell my clients that they don't ever have to sit in fear as to whether or not we're doing our work. That's one thing that my firm prides itself on, is our communication with the client, no matter if they're in custody, whether they're in custody or out of custody. So from the gate, we are preparing every case for trial. We file all pretrial motions, irregardless of whether a plea will be accepted or whether or not the case will be proceeding to trial. We file all pretrial motions, take depositions of all essential witnesses in state court, and of course in federal court, you're not entitled to depositions. You have to file a motion in order to get depositions of witnesses taken. And in that, what I like to do is when I have a conversation with a client about what the state's offer is, just the different options, my most important goal is figuring out what's important to that client and assessing, and if probation is on the table, assessing whether or not the client is a good probation candidate. And if not, I also kind of look at the evidence that the state intends to prove. I mean, my background, I did used to be a prosecutor, or what we call an assistant state attorney here in the state of Florida in Miami-Dade County. So I'm very familiar with what it takes to file charges and prove them in a trial. And so I kind of use those skill sets that I have to assist me in defending my clients' cases. So I'm thinking about, you know, what the state's case is, what they can prove, what they cannot prove, and of course what I can rebut and what a defense would be, and whether or not we have any witnesses. So those are kind of the things in my firm's policies and procedures regarding to help guiding a client to that. I always advise clients of minimum and maximums. No attorney should ever be in a position to where they're making guarantees to anybody. I do not do that. I make that known. I'm very honest with my clients. So it's kind of like a multiple things that I take into consideration. We think about, you know, what's important to that client, because obviously if what's in, and of course freedom is the most important, but you know, I do have some cases where taking it to trial is just too much of a risk. So I assess what's important to the person, immigration consequences, the facts of our case, whether or not we have a defense, whether or not it's in my client's best interest to take the stand. If we have evidence, what is the state's or the government's evidence? What are the witnesses that they called? What did the depositions look like? That's kind of what we do here. And so our intention is to make sure that everybody has a fair shot, and that we've done everything that we can and turned over every rock that we could to help best guide a client to freedom or to a situation where they're not exposed to as much risk. Okay? So If you want to learn more about the work that we do here at Davis Legal Center, please stay connected with us. And if you ever find yourself or a loved one in need of representation, whether it's state, federal, or juvenile, please don't hesitate to contact us and reach out to us for a consultation. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.